What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability. Get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Let me entertain you. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. I'll try not to sing. I really will. I'll try not to sing. I mean, of course, you can have a karaoke jam, and I'll let you sing. You be the star of the show. Speaking of stars of the show, speaking of entertainment, today on the program, I have EchoSeven. EchoSeven. What? You don't know a lot about EchoSeven? Well, you're going to get to know a little bit more about EchoSeven in the next few minutes, so stick around. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to them. So stoked. All right, this week's shows, I have one public show, my usual Friday night gig over at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. That's the Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam from 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the AM. So if you're anywhere near Conway, Arkansas, you get to the Rab on Friday night. They got a full bar, kitchen's open, pool tables, pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, yeah, you could do that at the Rab Friday night at the Rab. It's a Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. 8 until 12:30 in the AM. Yeah, be there. So much fun. All right, I got, that's enough intro. Oh, yeah, and then Saturday, weddings, and birthday parties, and corporate events. That's what I save my Saturdays for. So if you need them, DJLittleRock.com. All right, that's it for the intro. Let's get into it with EchoSeven. Now, I got EchoSeven on the Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube, youtube.com/user/KeysDAN. Let's Skype EchoSeven now. Wow, that's where the magic happens. The EchoSeven magic. All right, who's going to be the spokesperson? Because I got Stefanie. You're usually up front. You know, the pretty face up front. Every band needs one to kind of attract all the boys. And then once you attract them in, then you keep them in with all that good talent. You know, that's how you lure them. You like a little hook with the bait. And then once you got them on the line, They just keep coming back for more EchoSeven. But Robert Hope, I'm losing hope here.
Robert Hope has left.
Hopefully at some point we get Robert's video up. That would be fantastic. But for now, let's get it going, man. EchoSeven in the house. I have the band members of EchoSeven, at least a few of them. What is it? 4 out of 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 3 out of 5. 4 out of 5. 3 out of 5. Well, 3 out of 5. That ain't bad. I think I never got that much more in high school. 3 out of 5. That was usually the grade that I came up with, and I squeaked on by that way. I think I quote the late great Rodney Dangerfield in Back to School when his son said, "Hey, I'm making C's. A, B, C. You're in the top 3. No problem." All right, that's where I'm starting. Who's going to be the spokesperson at first? Who's going to give the people an idea of what an EchoSeven is? Who is an EchoSeven?
I'm pointing to Allon here.
Okay, all right, there you go. So what is an EchoSeven? EchoSeven is basically 5 people who just really, really enjoy music. They all come from, diverse backgrounds, and we have created this hard rock, metal, folky, melodic thing that has taken shape, and basically, I guess EchoSeven we're a team, and that's the way I like to think about it. That's kind of the concept that I was going for when I started the band with Justin, was just to create a team and people that wanted the same goals and the same kind of ideas, and realize that music is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a business first and foremost, unfortunately, but it is a business. But at the same time, finding people to create with, that sort of creating is seamless and kind of natural and intuitive is important too, right? So, we're not super technical when it comes to the creation. I'll tell you, for me, if it sounds good, we run with it. I don't break it down into anything too crazy. And if it works, it works. And that's how we've done it so far. So I think that I would say that kind of sums up what EchoSeven is and basically what we're trying to be about anyway.
Well, that's Allon McCall, the drummer of EchoSeven, and you're breaking it down to the nitty gritty, to the way that music was made. It used to be everybody in one room, all recorded on. If they had several microphones, that's fine. But the really down to earth ones was one microphone in the center of the room, and that's where you're recording. You find a place that's for the most part quiet. And you go with it. I've seen a lot of movies and such where they would find they would do recordings at church because the church acoustics were pretty good. Weird Al Yankovic famously recorded My Bologna in a bathroom in Central Station in New York. So you got to find the spot that's going to work for you. And from what I'm understanding, Allon McCall, you've set up a studio with the panels and a soundproofing in your residence, in your home there?
Yeah, that's correct. So the studio I've had before we got together, I had a production company about 7 years ago and opened the studio at the same time. And so it ended up working out well for bands. And it's funny because I had a band back in 2002 and we had nothing. We had no rehearsal space. We barely had gear. Now I have the studio, and I had the studio, I said 7 years ago, and I had no band. So back then we had nothing but music and desire to do stuff. And then I get the studio, and then I had no band. And so it all worked out. But no, the studio I've had for a bit. I'm a recording engineer, and drummer by trade. That's what I've been doing since I was like a teenager. And so it just works out that we can track and record professionally within the ecosystem of EchoSeven, right? So it kind of works out that way, and we've been trying to and messing and I guess meddling with different producers and remix engineers lately, because we signed a deal with Curtain Call Records in the States, and so they've have forced us to up our production a bit. And so we've been trying some producers out, and that's been an adventure in of itself. I think Steph can attest to the fact that it's been interesting. It hasn't been as seamless as we thought it was going to be. So it definitely has had its challenges for sure. So we do some stuff in-house and we farm out some stuff, but if these guys can't get it together, we may have to just start doing it all in-house again. It's getting old.
Well,
thank
you for a little background on where you came from. You've been doing the sound engineering for at least 7 years, and that's that's a fantastic asset to have in a music group, as a nice place to practice, a nice place to record, because people don't, sometimes some people don't know that you have to practice 7 days to get one gig, to do 1 day of work, or I guess you're practicing for months sometimes for that one gig that they think, oh, okay, we're paying you this much, and all you're doing is working for 4 hours. No, you're working lots of time beforehand. But Stefanie Roy, we've heard from Allon McCall, the drummer. Stefanie Roy, you're the vocals, and you play guitar, as far as your bio says. Let's hear from you. When did EchoSeven actually form together, and who are the founding members?
The founding members are me, Allon, and Justin. And the band, I think, Justin and Allon started toying with the idea around 2016, and I kind of joined in the mix in 2018 as far as that goes. And then COVID happened, and because of COVID, we couldn't play any gigs. So we've had pretty much 2 years of practice to get to the gigs we have today. So that's good and bad, but that's how it's been.
Well, I'm looking at the name. Well, I don't have Mr. Hope's name anymore. And if you're watching the video version of this, the Stefanie is responsible for the background. I don't even know if you could turn that background off just for a second. That way I can get a good wide image of you guys, maybe clear that off. But anyway, the people that are listening to the audio version aren't even going to know what I'm talking about. But I was looking at the lineup. I got Stefanie Roy as the vocals and guitar, Justin Edgar, Larracey. I'm not even, is that his last name, Larracey? He's also guitar? Okay. And then Dylan Osmond as guitarist as well, and Mike Brooks as the bassist, and Allon McCall as the drums. Now, Mr. Hope, I don't even know you on the lineup. Has the lineup changed in a while?
Yeah, that's my fault then, because I didn't realize you had no bio.
No, that's the Facebook.
Bob and Marcus are what 2 months in?
Come again?
Are they 2 months in? Bob and Marcus are 2 months with the band?
Yeah, I say so. Yeah.
Yeah, about 2 months. So they came on board 2 months ago. So that press kit that you have is outdated, because we've been going through members, every 6 months.
Well, that's
one of the benefits of COVID. We've had time to.
Yeah, it's been crazy. So the original lineup changed like 3 months in, and then we were auditioning bass players and things, and then Dylan came along, and then it was just 4 of us with no bass player. Then we found Mike Brooks, and then Mike was around for a couple months, 2 months maybe 3, and then he left and moved, and Dylan ended up getting a good job and a career kind of thing, so he left, and then so Marcus and Bob Robert Hope are 2 new members, so that would be yeah, that's my fault. So I don't know why I assumed you had the recent bio, but that's my mistake. I've been dropping the ball a lot lately.
No, that's the bio that I took from the Facebook page. You probably did send me a bio at some point, but I'm looking at your Facebook page.
But if the Facebook page isn't updated, then that's me. That's not me. Then I need to.
All right. Well, let's
on the to-do list. Update Facebook page.
Yes.
Well, let's talk to Bob Hope. That's a name. That's a tough name to grow up with, I think. Let's talk to Bob Robert Hope. Are you the funny man in the group, and what do you play?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. I guess it depends how old you are. You tell people nowadays, my name's Bob Hope. Anyone under 40 doesn't get the joke. But
you got it right. Thanks for the memories. I appreciate that. Well, if I say thanks for the memories, you would think of another band. That's true. But thanks for the memories is the way that Bob Hope used to sign off every time he did a show.
Yeah, I made a joke. I was saying that to Allon we could put Bob Hope Jr., so I'm actually a junior for real, so could get to steal some thunder there from the name.
Hey, whatever it takes to get them in. I already talked about the pretty girl up at the front, and if they can they'll figure out that, hey, Bob Hope Jr.'s a part of this band as well. There's another hook.
Sure.
Fish him in. If
I could get the video working, you wouldn't have to take my word for it, but I'm pretty myself. So
we'll leave the mystery. We'll leave the mystery to the people. They'll be looking up all the Bob Robert Hopes on Facebook and all over social media. But what instrument are you playing, Robert Hope?
Disappointed.
What instrument are you playing, Robert?
Right now I'm playing the bass guitar. Traditionally, I'm a guitar player and auditioned for the band as a second guitar. Like they say in the business, you do what you got to do, and needed a bass player. So
Well, I've talked to a lot of groups and that seems to be what happens. A lot of the bass players are people that were playing guitar or some other instrument, and the band was needing a bass, and one of the guitarists will go, you know what, I'll make that trip. But then I find that some of the best groups, some of the best bass players have so much, bass face. That is that, you got style, you really have fun with it, and I've seen some of the videos, and do you consider yourself a guy that has style on the bass, Robert Hope?
I think so. I think I would probably, I don't know. I think these guys would probably call me the class clown. I really try to have fun whenever we're together and making music, and it's been a huge part of my life, and it's so important to me that I just have fun no matter what, as long as I have a guitar in my hand.
Well, all right. Well, Allon, McCall, where was the band formed, and where do you find yourselves today? And is that the same place?
Well, yeah, the band was formed here in Moncton, New Brunswick. So we're in Atlantic Canada. So if no one knows, which most Americans don't, what Atlantic Canada is or where it is, if you think of Halifax, if you know where Halifax is, or up past Maine, then that gives you an idea of the geography of where. See how Steph's and lets you know where it is, right?
That's it, right? It's hard.
Yeah, so that's where we're from, and that's where we are located, and this is our city, and this is our home base. We'll see where things go. I mean, I don't think any of us have any plans of moving far anytime soon, hopefully. But this is our home base, this is our home city, and we're trying to make our mark here as best we can, and hopefully locals will support us and like what they hear and see what happens.
Well, what's funny is I looked up New Brunswick, and the top Google search will take you straight to New Jersey, and I go, that's always the case. It's funny story. I was Gary Vee, inspirational guy. He's on Instagram or whatever. I had subscribed to his newsletter or whatever. And so, of course, it asks you your location. So I put New Brunswick. Anyway, his team, because he's a New Yorker, much like me, his team thought it was New Jersey as well. So whenever he sends out email blast or text blast, he's like, "Hey, Jersey, what's up today?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not in New Brunswick, New Jersey. I'm in Canada, but I don't clarify with it." So yeah, everyone does. Everyone thinks that that this is New Jersey, but it's not. It's much colder and much further up north. Well, that just adds
a lot more rural than Jersey. So yeah, it's not quite.
Well, it adds to the mystery of EchoSeven. Where are they from? New Brunswick. Oh, which one? Because I'm sure there's New Brunswicks all over the world. But okay, I'm on the. I'm doing what probably most of the listeners are doing. If they aren't familiar with Canada, I went straight to the Wikipedia. I found New Brunswick. I'm looking at a little bit of the history there. Is it French? Or do people speak French there?
It's officially bilingual, actually. It's Canada's only officially bilingual province.
Well, have you done some singing in French there, Stefanie Roy? I mean, yeah.
My first language is French, actually.
Yeah, I speak Spanish. I'm half Cuban, so bilingual is very familiar to me. I'm from Miami, Florida, but do you only sing locally, or have you traveled outside of your area of New Brunswick, Canada, or even out into the other countries?
So far, only local, but I'm a folk musician. So before I was in the group, I did a lot of solo work, just doing my own thing and doing covers and stuff, but just solo and guitar. But
Okay.
I also play the piano, so I used to play that, and I'm incorporating it back into the group and stuff like that.
Well, Stefanie Roy, that's very advantageous. I've always wanted to learn how to play guitar. That seems to be the easiest instrument that you can perform solo and take it with you. Go busking, go to a club or a bar and sit in the corner and play guitar. It's got to be a lot harder than to have Alan McCall pull all his drums in, and I'm gonna sit here in the corner and just play the drums, and just you pay me money for that as a solo artist. That's got to be tough. And then I see Robert Hope, Bob Hope. You play guitar as well. Have you done solo efforts as well in your time?
No, not really. Just playing since I was a kid, different bands. This is, I would say, probably the most serious that I've gotten with these guys, and just trying to get out and play shows as soon as possible now that COVID's over. I'm excited.
Okay, so I could see that Bob Hope, the class clown, is a is a team player. All right, and this freight train that just came in is Justin Edgar Larracey, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And how did he do that, man?
Came in like a hurricane. Pow!
I want to join the party. I feel left out.
Oh, okay. That proves you're from Canada. I heard the oot. You got left oot.
Well, it's all about.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm looking at Justin. You said the bandmate said that you were currently working the day job, working
the evenings,
or the evening job, the steady gig, the one that affords you the insurance. I'm guessing, so that way you have the time to perform in the EchoSeven. Well, let's get an idea of who Justin Edgar Larracey, the guitar player, is. Give us an idea of who you are.
I'm a pretty laid-back guy. I got 2 kids. I enjoy playing guitar. Enjoy being in the band with all the guys and this lovely lady, Stefanie. I'm just a fun guy.
Well, you say laid back, but you come on with such energy. I love it. It felt good when you came in. I heard just like an explosion, and then all of a sudden you appeared. Justin Edgar Larracey, pow, like magic. Well,
I didn't hear it, but I guess you guys heard it.
Okay, so I have 2 guitarists in the room on the chat right now. Who's the lead and who's the rhythm, or do you switch off?
I don't really know. I guess we're both the guitar players. I'm the original one from the beginning. Marcus is the more of the master of the solos and stuff right now, at this point now. But I can say we're both a big part of the band.
Okay. And then Stefanie, do you bring your guitar up as well with EchoSeven, or are you strictly vocals?
Strictly vocals, but also piano, since we're going to be doing some acoustic shows soon. So when I can learn and incorporate the songs in piano for the acoustic versions, I do. So that's fun.
I like that. I like that a lot. All right, judging by your let's see, your YouTube page, the band has really been going since 2020, like head on, like really COVID made you come together as a band. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all just had the motivation, I guess, to do it. And the funny thing was that we COVID hit, and I think we were maybe 3 rehearsals in, maybe. And we recorded the first song. So the first version of everything, we had to sneak around to record. We had to sneak around to take the band photos. We literally had to break out and dodge police. Because at the height of COVID, everyone was crazy, right? So it was you couldn't go outside. If they caught you outside in groups, they were going to arrest you. And
people would report.
Yeah, it was crazy. People were snitching on each other, oh, I saw my neighbor outside and all that stuff, right? So we literally had to we had to go and take the risk. So we went out and took the band photos, and we risked getting arrested doing that. And then I would sneak it over to the bass player's house to record bass, and then I had Justin sneak over to the house to record guitar, and then Steph recorded her vocals at her house. And it was crazy. It was like living in one of those sci-fi movies. Like we had to do everything underground, and then piece it together, and then come up with the song, and it went really well. Like I think it hit a lot harder than I think any of us expected. That song locally, we were on a top 40 countdown for, I think the total was like 14 weeks. I think we peaked at like number 4 on that count. Like it really hit a lot harder than I think any of us imagined. And honestly, if it wasn't for COVID, we probably would be like, 50 shows deep probably by now. Like COVID really, like we hit so hard, but we couldn't back it up with live shows. And that was a bit of a blow for us. We were so excited that it was working. And that, even though we kind of pieced it together, it was coherent and people were responding to it. And then we had to like wait and wait to see what Canada was going to do and wait to see what New Brunswick was going to do. And so, now we're finally at a point, just, worldwide and socially where, things are finally getting back to normal. And we've gone from like 0 to 3 shows in like 2 weeks. So yes. It's been really cool. And I mean, like, it's just, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting ride.
Well, even in that dystopian life that we called COVID, creators still had to create, and you, by hook or by crook, you were going to do it no matter what. My goodness, you were avoiding the law. Did anybody get in trouble? Did anybody at all find themselves in the long arm of, in the grasp of the long arm of the law?
No, but our guitarist at the time was really concerned about it. So Andre was one of our guitarists at the time, and he was like, "Dude, I'm not going to jail. I'm not going to jail." And we're like, "Calm down, man." So we were doing the first photo shoot we did as a band. And he's like looking around, and he was paranoid. Like he was seriously not trying to get a ticket or a fine during that photo shoot. And it was really touch and go, like really, really bad. I was worried about my neighbors. Fortunately, they were all very cool and no one said anything. But there were daily reports of people snitching, like about their neighbors having company over or having family over. So it got really bad, and so we were a bit of outlaws, I guess, and rebels in that respect. And rock stars, I guess, that's what you do, right? It is rock music, so. I guess we fit the bill when it came to that.
Well, one of my favorite lines in Wayne's World when Dana Carvey as Garth says, "I'm not going to jail for you or anybody." And he was talking about his.
That's basically what Andre said. That's basically what he. That's basically what he said in a nutshell. To paraphrase, that's what he said.
All right, but you were sneaking him over to your studio, and it was kind of safe. I mean, you had only 2 people in the studio at a time, and I'm sure you were behind a wall. At that
point, it didn't matter. At that point, it was only the family bubble, and that was it. And if it was anyone else, so it was. I mean, now mind you, when they like had these different bubbles, as soon as it was like 10 people or whatever, we started rehearsing again. And we asked everyone, like, listen, do you mind if, like, I add you to your bubble and whatever? And so, like, the first moment we got to get back together, we did. But we respected the distancing. And, if anyone in the band felt uncomfortable, we didn't get together. And so, I mean, we worked it out, and we stayed strong, and we stayed together. And I think we're a better band for it. Give us a lot of time to practice, a lot of time to, get songs right and get them together. I think there are 3 songs that we know in our sleep right now that we will never, ever, ever get wrong, ever. Because we've practiced them so many times. But yeah, we did. We really, took advantage of the downtime and made our move, which I think was a smart thing for us to do. And I'm glad that we did. Because I think, it was a good time for us to build our social media. It was a good time to kind of focus on those things and meet different bands and connect with different bands and different, podcast hosts and different media outlets and stuff. So we tried to utilize as best as we could. And I think it worked out.
It has worked out. I mean, and I'm guessing that the 3 songs are Everything, Gunnin', and I Am the Tree. Am I correct?
Yes.
That is correct. Yes.
And those are the 3 songs that you've put out to the world. And you say they're getting good feedback. Some of the local radio stations are giving you love. And tell me how many of those local stations are showing you the affection?
None. We're getting more. Here's the thing. No love locally. And I'm going to say that and put that out there. We're getting no love. We're getting more love in the States. We get more love over, and especially at the time with the label. Before the label, we were getting a lot of love over in the UK and in the States. Now with the label backing us, we're doing very well over in Denmark and in the Nordic end of Europe. We're still doing very well in the UK. We're still getting traction in the States. Here in Canada, I don't know whether we're just too modern or just too good. I don't know what to say about. But that's the thing, though. It's like it's funny here in New Brunswick because we're doing original music and we're doing rock music, and everyone here claims they like rock music, and yet and still I've reached out to all the stations and they're like no, and I'm like okay, that's fine. So locally, no, radio is not showing us any love. It's everywhere else besides here that's playing our stuff and that we're getting spins and streams from. So we take it.
We're hoping that's all going to change Friday, right?
Yes.
We hope. Yes, Bob is correct. We hope that Friday people will be like, oh, we didn't know about these guys, and hopefully we can get some more traction, from that. So.
Hey, what's the turning point on Friday? Am I getting a scoop here?
I'll let Steph or anyone else to take that one. I've talked a bit, so I will back up.
Go ahead, Justin. Spill the
that one?
beans. Go ahead, Justin. Spill the beans. Tell me what's going on Friday.
Well, it's our first live show, and we're doing it all acoustic.
Where? Tell the people.
It's Friday. It will be at, I think it's called the Charity Community Center, I do believe.
Community Peace Center, yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, it's what we were supposed to do at the waterfront, but our weather changed on us, so they moved the place, kind of. So we're going to be doing our first set. It's going to be acoustic. Everything we played is going to be all acoustic, something different, and we're going to have some keyboard, piano in there. Well, it's going to be a little different.
I wasn't planning on putting this up until Sunday, which will be a couple of days after the gig. But I'm going to see if I can at least put the audio version up so we can get at least those people hip to what's going on. Something new happening at EchoSeven, the first live, acoustic gig out in the world since COVID happened. And this is, have you played together?
It's Sunday. We have a show the 25th. So our first electric show is going to be on the 25th. That's going to be in Fredericton, New Brunswick. And we're doing it with 2 other bands, Jeff Picasso and Sonic Detour. That's going to be all electric, so we're going to be able to rock out pretty good to that show as well. So, and the show we're doing Friday is for suicide awareness and prevention. So it's a community charity event, which is really cool. So I'm definitely excited for it. I think the rest of everyone is. We're really excited for it. Rehearsals been sounding really good. And I think we're very ready to get out there and just kill it. That's basically, we're pirates. I mean, I honestly, all my bands, I like to think of us as pirates. We go in and we just take over. We just take everything. We take everyone's fans. We take their record sales. We just take it all and we run away. That's how I look at it. Right? That's my mindset when I go in, right? So
I would hope that you're just you could think in a different mindset. If you were in a festival, you would turn your music on to fans of other bands, and hopefully they buy your record and their record at the same time. We all got to get together.
I'm a fair pirate. I'm not saying I would at all. I'm just saying that I'm going to go in there on my ship named EchoSeven, and I'm going to come in there and I'm going to take what I can. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm like a selfish pirate. I'm just saying that I
he's a good pirate.
Go in there and do well.
Well, that sounds like the attitude that Jimi Hendrix and maybe Little Richard used to have. He'd or even oh my goodness, what's the movie I saw with the killer? What's his name? Jerry Lee Lewis. He'd light his piano on fire, or same thing with Jimi Hendrix. He would light his guitar on fire and be like, "Follow that," and I mean, do you go for theatrics like that? I mean, I know equipment gets expensive unless you get to a certain level in the business. Some people are at the higher level or this level, and maybe we're on this level, and there's other people below us. But do you go for theatrics when you're in the middle of these festivals?
I don't think we are. I hope not. I mean, I'm going to speak for me.
All right, Allon.
I'm not a theatrical guy. That's me. I don't think we're going to get into pyrotechnics or smoke shows or.
It depends how the show's going.
Oh, for sure.
So there you go. You know what? And you know what? Robert is correct. I guess we need to fit whatever venue we're doing. So if the PA is trash, you might get a smashed guitar or two.
Well, I mean,
okay.
and then
there you go. There you go.
Maybe
So
Stefanie Roy can keep a few firecrackers in her pocket and light them off at the end. Hey, there's your grand finale. Pow pow.
Little sparklers.
Okay, all right, that's a little more tame. Okay, that probably makes more sense. A little sparkler. Hey,
You can get the big one.
or that's what's funny. I did a birthday party. I DJ on the weekends. I did a birthday party last Saturday, and in lieu of candles, they put those big giant sparklers on the kids' birthday party cake. So I don't think that we're ever going back to blowing out the candles ever. COVID, no COVID, this thing has changed lives for forever. Some people are never going to shake hands ever again. The fist bump might be the way to go. The elbow bump might be the way to go. Hugs and kisses. I love hugs and kisses. Like I said, I'm half Cuban. I love hugs and kisses. But how has the past year changed you individually? Since I mean, hey, you've already told me. You've already given us the inside skinny. You didn't stop recording. You outlaws you, but Justin Edgar Larracey, you're working, you're playing hooky right now. You're kind of an outlaw, but
no hooky for me.
What's that?
No hooky for me. I'm in between cleaning right now. I clean for a living, so I get to drive into other places. Well, now I'm in the middle of driving to my next place. So
oh my goodness, I've never had a podcast and driving at the same time. So dangerous. Should you be pulled over? I don't know. You are outlaws. You are outlaws.
Oh, good.
Okay, I've seen a lot of the videos that come across my social media of and it's mostly girls, but a lot of some guys too will be driving in their cars while they're making a video. Isn't that incriminating? I don't think that's legal. You're not allowed to do that. But I digress.
I don't drive.
Okay. Well, that's something. Stefanie Roy, you don't drive. Why don't you drive? Is everything close? You like being driven? You have a chauffeur? You have a man Friday to take you where you need to go?
All of the above. I'm just kidding. But I grew up in a very small town, so I could walk everywhere.
Okay.
And I never had the occasion to get my driver's permit. And now I've just grown up and moved to the city and gotten used to taking the bus for the last 10 years. So it just never happens.
Well, I mean, being someone who's into the environment and trying to do his part, hey, you public transit. Good job. You're doing it, Stefanie Roy. Okay. So Bob Hope Jr. Hey, everybody, it's Bob Hope Jr. How has COVID changed you over the last year?
Well, like everyone, it's been rough. It was trouble getting used to it, but it was weird. We actually, me and my girlfriend had our first child. She's 3 months old, so that was kind of bad timing, but good timing. going to hospitals and all that during the pandemic was trying, but we got through it and onward and upward. And I found these guys during the pandemic. So I think that's one thing that happened for a lot of musicians. You're at home a lot and looking for stuff to do and checking online and get yourself into trouble or whatever, and ended up finding these great group of guys and girls. And so it's worked out.
Well, if there were 700,000 podcasts before COVID, after COVID, now there's over 1 million. Okay, anybody with a phone can make a podcast, which is great. Creators got to create, and I've already talked about some of the videos that people make while they're driving their cars. I don't suggest it. I don't have that capability in my car, and if I ever did, I would probably keep my car still. Well, I'm a bad enough driver, and but hey, and I know that there's other drivers that are equally as bad, and some better and some worse. But that's a public service message from me, little producer's note. But all right, notwithstanding the people that are driving and videoing, I appreciate you being here. All right, but you found each other. Bob Hope, you weren't part of the band in the initial incarnation. I was in the beginning of this. We heard in 2016 you had an idea to put this band together, and it really came together over the last year. And you've given us 3 quality songs, with one of them with a really good video for the I Am the Tree. It has a video that you actually is produced. Who put that video together for you?
We have a friend of mine, Matt Legier. He's at a company called Productions North of 7 in Toronto. And I've known Matt literally for close to 20 years. We used to jam together back in the day when I first moved to Canada. And so anyway, he's got a video production company. And so what we did is we took the footage that we shot here locally, sent it off to him. He added some nice B-roll and some nice effects. And did some good post-production, and it came out really well. I think all of us are really happy with the way it turned out. It looks seamless. Like, you can't really tell that it was, 2 separate, kind of cameras and 2 separate things. So he is now our go-to guy, as long as he wants to be. But yeah, it came out really well, and his company does good work. And before we were doing the videos ourselves, we were shooting them and editing them ourselves. So it's nice to have a third party be a part of this team, and we can kind of send stuff off to and get it done. But yeah, Productions North of 7 is the company that did the final edit for that video.
Well, I am the age of MTV. I was there in '81 when they first played video Killed the Radio Star, and I was just amazed that not only can you hear the music, because before that I had records that my mom gave me and 8-track tapes. Yes, 8-track tapes. Look them up, kids. And I had 45s and 12-inch records. But then when MTV came out, the artist really had to have a visual as well as audio. And whenever I do DJ parties, I will put up music videos when I'm playing the music on the screen as well. And that way people go, oh, who is that? So that way this weekend on Friday night when I'm at the Rab, I'll be playing EchoSeven, and they'll go, hey, who is that? Oh, that's EchoSeven. Look them up. Yeah, you got to know more about them. And that's what a DJ is supposed to do, is to break out new artists. Okay, I'm going to get on a little soapbox because you already told me that you're not getting love from the local radio stations. Since 1986, I've been working on the radio on and off. I've worked for big companies that tie my hands and are programmed from a central office someplace that's not where I'm at. And I've been with mom and pop stations where they own only one station, which is a feat in itself because it cost you at least $50,000 to get a license. And this is back, 2005 when I saw that price. I went, wow. And just to get the license, and that's not even the tower or the studio itself. But when I worked at that mom and pop station, I had the license to or the ability to get a record from a local artist handed to me. I take a listen to it. hey, I kind of like that. Let me send that to the air. Let me tell a little story about EchoSeven, where they're from, New Brunswick, Canada, and then put their song on. Bam. The world at least my area gets to hear you on the air. And I do that with my radiowhat.com, and I do have quite a few listeners there. But I used to love having that power to break out new artists such as yourselves. That's what a DJ is supposed to do. It's a symbiotic relationship. I don't play an instrument. I'm jealous of people like you that play instruments because you're fantastic. Yeah, I mean, and I love watching live bands play. It's amazing. Now, before last year or all through last year, you have not played any gigs as EchoSeven out in the world. These will be the first gigs this week, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
So you've been studio band, getting your craft together, doing that, practicing. Are you able to get together now and practice?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we do weekly. We're weekly rehearsals, schedule permitting. Everyone has a life, so.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we get together weekly. We have a Facebook group, so we're always talking to each other. It's that, like I said earlier, it's definitely I wanted to create a team environment, and one that just wasn't us showing up every week for rehearsal, right? So one where we chat and we talk about any and everything and that. And this way we all get to know each other and do that, do bonding and that's that's what we are. That's who it is, right? Because I mean, honestly, we don't. And with Stefanie and Justin, we've always said that personality was probably the biggest factor in choosing a band member over talent. If you're an asshole, we're not going to get along with you. I don't care how well you play, it's not going to work, right? Because the plan is to tour and do shows and to travel. And so we have to be able to get along if we're going to be doing those things, right? So that's always been a big part. And we've had some characters come through in auditions. So we definitely have put that mantra to work, and so it's worked out though, and I'm really happy with the group of people that we have now. Like I said, we're all on the same page. We're all dedicated to the project. We all want to put out a good product. Bob has worked so hard, and I just want to commend him publicly in a public forum. He's really put a lot of work and time and effort into learning the bass lines and learning a new instrument. Is not easy to do, and for him to step up and and to fill the gap and to complete this band, I'm just extremely grateful and appreciative of that, and so hopefully, if I haven't said it enough already, I'm saying it in a very public forum, Bob. That I appreciate you. Thank you for all your hard work, and I'm really looking forward to playing these shows. And so it's been good. It's been good. I'm happy with the team.
I appreciate it. No problem. It's been great. I feel like I found a second family with you guys, and I look forward to it every week. It's the highlight of my week, except for my new family, obviously.
Well, I mean, that's the rhythm section. The rhythm section in a band is that's the heart. That's the life that keeps the time. You got the drummer and the bass. Really, you guys work together musically more than anybody else. Is that correct?
We do. I mean, we do. I think we all. I think we're the rhythm section is what it is, but we all work when it comes to composing a song. We're all putting in opinions and we're all putting in ideas. Like we're writing a new song now, and Justin came up with the riff. But Bob was like, I really like the way this note hangs. If you hang that note, that will be great. And that's what we did. Fuck it. He liked it. Let's try it. And it works. So, you know what I mean? Like it's a team effort. It's a group effort. When you see the liner notes that, songs are composed by EchoSeven, that is what it is. We bring an idea to the table and we all kind of sit around and we take it apart, and some things stay, some things don't, some things get altered. But in the end, it's a group song because, we all have to be happy with the product that we're putting out. It can't just be me being happy or Seth being happy or, with the song. If everyone's not happy to play the song, it's not going to come across the way it's supposed to come across. It's very much about, and again, that's what comes out of personality too. Like if you've got an ego and you think your riffs are the best and they can't be tampered with, well, then this is the situation for you, right? Because we've all got to enjoy playing the song. So it's a collaborative process, even when it comes to the rhythm section. Guitar players are chiming in, we're all chiming in, in each section, because the perspective is unique, right? And sometimes you need that person, who can see the forest for the trees, as they say. So someone who's got another ear listening in can pick apart little details of things that may not sound right, that I may not, or that person may not, be able to pick up on. So it's about taking advantage of all that, right? And playing off that. That's what we try to do. And so far, I think it's working pretty good.
Well, Allon McCall, you're giving the listener an idea that that's the advantage of being in a group, is you have all these creative minds coming together. If you're a solo artist, you have to rely on yourself. And just like a writer trying to write a book, sometimes you get a block. So out of 5 people, at least one of them is going to have a muse working that day that'll help to establish some kind of a songwriting ability. Now, who's writing the words? Who's in charge of the lyrics mostly, or is all that a collaborative effort as well?
Well, Steph and I have joined forces. So when we first started, it was me, and then Steph wrote "I Am the Tree." So our biggest song to date and first single off of our official label is Steph's song. So that's how we start off things. But now that we're like 3 songs in, actually I believe the second verses of Everything, Push Pull, Only I think you and I wrote together.
I think so.
Well, Stefanie Roy,
we've been writing together more and more.
Well, Stefanie Roy, the vocals, do you have a background in writing music? Have you been writing songs since you were little, or how long has it been?
I've been writing, making, and recording music since I was really, really young. I had an old school cassette tape recorder when I was young, and I used to use my stereo and my tape recorder to do loop tracks and to do layers and tracks and stuff like that, until I got given a recording program and I started working with that. So it's been a mix of taking songs and making covers, but making them my own and writing my own music as well. So it's kind of a mix of both, but now my focus is more with the group, because that's what's been working and that's what makes me happy. So.
Well, Stefanie Roy, you have your own catalog. I did kind of peruse a little bit that you have your own kind of a solo work that's out there and available. Do any of the other members of the band have their solo work as well? That, I'd like everybody to succeed, not just, as a band, but also even the biggest bands have kind of like, I know that Mick Jagger and Keith Richards and, some of the biggest bands have broken off into solo efforts and then always come back. Some of the strongest bands have succeeded in that respect. But do you all continue with your solo efforts, or is it all EchoSeven? This is the project. This is the best thing happening right now. Put all your efforts into it.
For me personally, I've been writing for years, but I've never put anything out other than just for friends on Facebook and stuff like that. But this is all new. This is a first for me.
Well, Bob Hope, we've already established you're the team player. You like working with bands. Since you were a wee lad in school, you've been in bands your whole life, and that's fantastic, man. So that's a good addition to the band. You say you're the newest member, right?
I will add on top of, sorry to interrupt you, on Allon's last point about the rhythm section and stuff, that it's tricky, man, being like a lead player for many, many, many years. And now to learn, it's been humbling to play the bass lines and just kind of sit in the pocket and learn to relax and wait for that moment instead of just trying to, be responsible for carrying the melody. The bass is a whole different animal. So I'm still learning, but we're getting there.
Well, I mean, since I'm a very visual person, have you watched some of the videos of some of the most interesting bass players? Like, I like Flea and Sting and
Victor Wooten.
what's that?
Victor
Oh,
Wooten.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, what are your top 3 bass players that you like to emulate, Bob Hope?
Oh yeah, well, I'm a '90s. I'm a child of the '90s, so Flea and Jeff Emmett from Pearl Jam, I would say, and obviously the classics like Tom Araya, Slayer, and Sting, of course. But it's unique, and I think maybe I'm hoping it'll benefit the band. I come from a very melodic guitar line based place, and I'm hoping to kind of bring a unique style to the bass. And I think I am. It's just, again, like finding that patience and just riding the pocket of the rhythm and not trying to overpower the other instruments. It's a unique perspective.
I love the ones that stick their tongues out and bug their eyes out and really put a lot of effort into it and give
I wasn't gonna plug Kiss.
Please don't. No, you're much better than Gene. You're so much better than Gene.
Well, hey, come on, Gene's got his thing too. Hey, that's theatrics, man.
That's it.
But Justin Edgar Larracey, who Justin Edgar Larracey, guitar man. Who are your guitar heroes growing up, and who do you like to emulate, or who do you feel?
Well, I love John Petrucci, Frank Zappa. I listen to a lot of Frank Zappa. I'd say like the Killswitch Engage is a big influence for me. Same as Trivium. I like that style of just like the pickup to it. It's like Dream Theater, like that. Just the styles, those styles. I like the pickup to them. But I started playing when I was like 16, acoustic guitar, and I learned how to play by ear just by listening to whatever everybody else is playing. And I just come up with my own riffs and my own style, I guess.
Well,
I'm a lefty. I play right-handed.
Okay. Well, I mean, what's funny is my 15-year-old girl. I convinced her to watch SNL, Saturday Night Live, from the beginning, and she's loving it. And Frank Zappa was the host and musical guest, I guess, back in 1978, and he's on the top 20 worst shows. But I love Frank Zappa's style, man. But him as
his son came to Moncton here
as a host. Yeah, as a host, he wasn't. He was out of his element. But he was so strange and so out there. I think people couldn't figure out what he was doing. But I do love Frank Zappa as well.
I love how he just changes, like any song he plays, he never plays it the same because he hears something different and he rewrites it. Like he's a composer. He's not a guitar player. He was originally a drummer, and like he's just amazing. That's why he has really weird music, but when you actually look at the whole like perspective of where he got, like he wrote everything that they're playing. Like that's a difficult task to do, and especially back when he was like 1940s or something like that he was born.
Yeah, I don't think he was feeling in his element being on live TV like that. And my kid was saying, is that kind of like parody? Is he doing like Weird Al Yankovic? What's going on there? But it was so fun. I had a good time with it. But the critics panned it for sure. But okay, but Stefanie Roy, your folk singer background, got some French as well. Do you sing in French and English, or what are your top folk singers that, or any singers that you emulate or you find you get the feels from?
Top folk singers, I'd have to say I'm a big fan of. She's not very folky, but Amanda Marshall, who was a great Canadian vocalist, who is still a Canadian vocalist, but nobody really knows if she's going to release anything. I'm also a big fan of Jan Arden growing up. She's from Western Canada. He's really, really fantastic. I love Kate Rusby as a guitarist. She's from Yorkshire in the UK. And as far as like piano and vocals go, I'm a big Tori Amos fan. I'm very, very into it.
Very lofty, very lofty. All three of those oh my goodness. Tori Amos, she tore it up through the 90s. I loved when I could catch a performance of hers and her just everything, theatrics to be sure. All right, my man Allon McCall, the drummer. Who are your top three drummers? I know it's hard to nail them down, man. I like a good backbeat.
Top three drummers. Oh wow. Any genre?
Yeah, pick it.
Okay. So I'm going to stay away from like the obvious answers, and no, Ringo is not one of my favorite drummers. I can't stand Ringo Starr. I don't think he's a good drummer.
But
fired.
Everybody would agree with you. All he was a backbeat. He was serviceable.
Yeah, that's not true. I just watched a documentary on Netflix a couple days ago, and it profiled a bunch of famous drummers. So it had the drummer from Porno for Pyros, and it had Taylor Hawkins, and it had a couple of other people, and they were all singing Ringo's praises. I am not the guy to sing Ringo's praises.
You're more of a Pete Best man. Pete Best is your guy.
Yeah, you know what? I just think that Ringo was just a little too lofty. I just don't. I can't take him seriously behind the kit.
Okay. All right.
And
that shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired for Ringo Starr. But who are the guys you do like?
The guys I do like, Mick Fleetwood is a big influence of mine. Simply because this guy, he's tall. He's like 6'7". Shout out to tall drummers.
Relatable.
Yeah, and his beats were simple, but they were complex at the same time. And if you ever watch Mick Fleetwood, the man was high as a kite and still holding a straight 4/4. If you can do that, you're number one on my list, right? And he just makes it look so easy, right? Like when you watch him, do his rolls, he's not expending. It doesn't look like he's expending a lot of energy. It's all wrist. And so just his technique is very proper, and I really enjoy the fact that he drums the way that he does, and even in his his older age now, he's still a drummer to be reckoned with. To carry just straight beats is something I think is lost with a lot of drummers, especially in modern rock. And modern rock's a lot of rills, a lot of fills, a lot of double bass, a lot of craziness. That's fine, but there is a lot to be said for holding a straight 4/4 and keeping the backbeat and just being that guy. So Mick Fleetwood is a huge influence for me. Phil Collins, I'm going to separate the man from the drumming because as a person, I think he's a bit of an asshole. But I will say that he is. He's an amazing drummer. Like he has 80s classics that are just, you can't dispute them, right? In the Air Tonight, Easy Lover, like he's got songs. I got to play Easy Lover at a talent show a couple of years ago, and I was beyond myself. Like I was like, I'm Phil, and
Philip Bailey or Phil Collins. Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind and Fire on that song. Fantastic, man.
Yeah, I mean it's an amazing song. It's classic, and Phil Collins has some really classic riffs. And I would say my third influential drummer is Emmanuelle Capulet, and she's from Canada. She's from Montreal. This girl is amazing. I went to a drum workshop, and it was for Sonar drums, and she plays Sonar, as do I. Not because she does, but anyway. It doesn't hurt that she does. But anyway, her rudiment skills are extraordinary. Her technical ability is just really, it's sky high. Like she is top tier. And so my rudiments are not at that level, not even close. But she's a very good drummer. She has a lot of solo stuff and she gets stars in a lot of different tracks. And but she's really good. I would say those are my top three. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Dave Grohl. I like Taylor. I love those guys. Like, can't take anything away from them, but those would be my top three, I think.
Oh my goodness! Hey, you have a good list, and I see that a lot of you have shown some love to the Canadians as well. I'm glad you're turning me on to a brand new drummer that I have to look up now and watch her play. You know, I want to do that. My goodness, I guess Justin had to take off, go off and clean.
I think for the last 5 minutes, I don't think he realized he was still filming.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and start to land this plane because my goodness, I'm having a good time talking to EchoSeven Band is the at. I guess there's an _ EchoSeven as well. You need to get your branding down right because I guess
it's all the same. It's _ EchoSeven on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. It's all _ EchoSeven. The only thing is EchoSeven Band is the website.
Okay, because I did find the Facebook page had _ EchoSeven, or no, it had EchoSeven Band, but I'll definitely make sure
it does come up if you search _ EchoSeven.
Well, very good. Let me change that toot sweet. Bam. Okay. Now that we're finishing off the podcast, I went ahead and I changed the titling on your under you guys. But oh my goodness, it's so good to finally get you on board and get to know a little bit behind the band, behind the music, because anybody can go onto your SoundCloud, your Bandcamp, or your YouTube and take a listen. But I like to know where the music came from and the people behind it. But you are totally different. You have different tastes, but you all come together as a band, and it's tough. You can't choose your family, but you can choose the people that you work with, and it's nice that the current lineup seems like it's working just fine. Now, give me the current lineup as you have it. Stefanie Roy. Well, maybe let me know who I'm missing. Stefanie Roy is the vocals and guitar. Justin Edgar Larracey is the other guitar. Bob Robert Hope Jr. is the bass. And Allon McCall is the drums. And who am I missing? Marcus. What's Marcus's last name?
LeBlanc.
What's his last name?
Like the actor from Friends, Matt LeBlanc.
LeBlanc. That's very French.
Yes.
The wife.
Is there a possibility?
The wife, yes.
Is there a possibility that you'll have some French songs in EchoSeven? Will you write some French?
I ain't French.
You don't have to be.
I'm the vocalist, so you never know.
I don't know.
I wouldn't steer in the francophone direction. It's a totally different animal when it comes to the industry and everything.
Yeah.
It's completely different. It's weird.
Well, I don't know if I play that style or not. So I'm joking.
Same style, just French lyrics.
No, I think that will be a hoot to have that bonus song at the end of the album in French. Just one. Now, okay. Oh my goodness, you just signed on with a record label. If you could tell me what record label and what has changed since you've signed on with this record label.
Well, we signed on with Curtain Call Records. They are now based in Miami, Florida, I believe. The CEO and the A&R moved down there. So they have distribution through Sony Orchard. So we have a major label distribution, digital distribution now, which is pretty cool. So that happened, I would dare say, probably 6 months ago now. It's been 6 months. What's changed is that now we have the digital distribution, which is nice. So we were doing our own distribution before, which was good, but now we get pre-saved campaigns and things like that, which is pretty cool. Radio servicing that we're getting now, both in North America and Europe. And on that note, thank you. We see your radio station on our warm listing that we get. So we see you, and we definitely appreciate the spin. So thank you very much for that. So we get that, we get support from the label, but basically it is very much an independent label in that you're only as good as the work you put in. So the label's not going to hold your hand, right? Like they have some resources, but they're not going to make you record a new song. They're not going to tell you to make a video. You know what I mean? They'll suggest it, but at the end of the day, it's on you as a musician. So it's been good. I think it's regimented us a bit. We've had to step up our social media game a lot. They want to see content. They want to see engagement. And now we have a set schedule of every 3 months releasing a single, which is good for us because it kind of puts a fire and keeps us on task. So we're not continually just like going over the same songs. We're like, okay, no, we got to write new material because we have to put out these projects. So that's a good thing with being on the label, and just not having to worry about the distribution of the radio servicing is nice. But as far as us as a band, has it changed anything? Not really, because we didn't get like $1 million advance. So we're still the same. We're still working the day jobs and still counting our pennies, and we're still doing the grind. The grind is still there. But at least this way, we're not in debt to a major, which is nice. We're funding this, ourselves. So it is independent, but it is nice to have a label and have a home for the music, which is nice. And to get it out, beyond our borders is nice too. So I would say those are probably the biggest changes that I've seen with the band, and you get a little more respect too, right? When you're signed to a label, people take you a bit more seriously when it comes to things. So it's good. It's good.
Well, it sounds like you've hired on a really good team to help you get to the next level, and you're probably going to be happy, even though on the front end it looks nice to get that $1 million advance. People have to know you got to pay that back. You're going to be paying that back for a long time, unless you're selling millions and millions of records. So yeah, don't take that advance. You can sign on the dotted line. They'll help you get to that next level. They'll give you the promotion and the backing that a good record label can do. And I'm from Miami. I worked in the Miami terrestrial radio market. It's a very big market. It's number 12, the number 12 market in the United States. So I had millions of people listening to me every morning on Exito 105.5, which is great. And so I think they're in the right location. I do miss Miami a lot. I find myself in Arkansas. So my world turned from blue to green, so it's a little different. I slowed down in my older age, but I still get to talk into microphones and talk to interesting people like you. I appreciate it so much. Stefanie, Roy.
And on that, and I'd like, on behalf of everybody, thank you so much for your time, putting us out, letting me get my feet wet. Thank you very much.
Well, we already got an idea of who you are and how to get a hold of you. Is there a website?
Yes, there is. EchoSevenBand.com is the website. Okay. On that website, you can find our latest video. You can find links to all of our songs via Bandcamp. You can find our bio. You can find pictures from our Instagram. And you can also find our merch all on that website there. So that's where you can go find us online. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter @_EchoSeven. We have merch. So if you go to the website, you can actually click on merch and they'll take you to the site. So that's where you can find it.
Hey, Allon is not just pushing merch because he wants his T-shirt on you. That's how they fund themselves. Because that music equipment is not cheap. Gas in your van to get from gig to gig is not cheap. So buy that merch. Or buy some CDs too, and some digital downloads and all that. All right, let's finish this thing off.
The hoodies are really comfy.
The hoodies, yeah. All right, let's finish this thing off. I usually do this with last words for the people. This could be words to live by, words that you heard a long time ago, or maybe a mantra that you wake up with every morning, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Now I'm going to go in the order. And let's see. Well, I'm going to do it this way. Justin, Edgar, Larracey, everybody's going to get last words. Justin, Edgar, Larracey, give us the last words for the people that you have.
Well, I thank everybody who listens to our stuff, and hopefully everyone enjoys whatever they hear, and continues to enjoy whatever they hear that we can come up with. That's about it, I guess. I'm not good with these kind of things.
No, that's fine. And Bob Robert Hope, the newest member of the band, the bass man, give your last words for the people.
Shake and bake, baby.
All right. And Allon McCall, you're the first person that I kind of contacted, got together with, and I want you to give the last words for the people because I want to hear the lady's voice at the end of this. So, Allon McCall.
Fair enough. My last words would be, my mantra is every day is another opportunity to your goal. And I really try to live by that, and I believe that. So you're only as good as your last record. That's what my dad always told me. He was a musician as well. And that's true. So I think there are two mantras. But yeah, every day is just a new opportunity to get up and make one more positive step towards your goal and to what you want to do in life. So look at it that way, and just start every day fresh, and then that would be my last.
You're killing me, Justin. All right.
That wasn't me.
Oh,
I don't know who that was.
all right. Stefanie Roy, you're going to give the last words for the people. I want to do something a little interesting. Since you speak French, I want you to give them in French and then translate it to English. Stefanie Roy, vocals, last words for the people.
All right. So I was going to give you a quote by Andrea Gibson, who is a poet, and it is everything you feel is okay. So in French, that would be tous les choses que tu te sens sont correctes.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I knew it was going to be good. I didn't know it was going to be that good. When you get 4 different people into the room, you never know what's going to happen. There's going to be all kinds of interjection and fun and different personalities that are going to come through. And those personalities are coming together. I had 4 out of 5 of the band members on the podcast, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I had 3 out of 5 when I started off, and hey, that nice 4th member came out and joined in. So EchoSeven, Stefanie Roy, Justin, Edgar, Larracey, Bob Robert Hope Jr., Allon McCall, and Marcus LeBlanc. Hey, hopefully I get to talk to Marcus LeBlanc on the next one. See what makes him tick. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, EchoSeven, for coming on the What Makes You Famous podcast. You keep doing what you do. You got your songs out there on YouTube and various places. Hey, don't just listen to them on the YouTube. Find them on Apple and Spotify and do some purchasing as well. And go to EchoSevenBand.com and buy some merch. Yeah. Support that band because that equipment's not cheap. No, I appreciate you so much for being on the podcast. Now, if I'm turning my attention to you, would like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. It's KeysDAN, radiowhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.